You know that feeling when something from the past just comes back to bite you? The regret, I know, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, right? Well, thousands of people felt that today when they learned Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy would be retiring. The why behind that, along with how his retirement will shape our future. That's the focus of today's Deep Dive. It's a segment here on the show where we just dive a little deeper into a topic. Okay, so you heard the headline, Justice Kennedy retiring after 30 years on the court. Now, he's often been a swing vote, siding with more liberal justices on issues like abortion rights and affirmative action, and leaning more conservative by blocking some gun control measures. His retirement would not be such a blow to Democrats had President Obama been able to select and get his nominee confirmed back in 2016. That was when conservative Justice Antonin Scalia died suddenly while on vacation. It was President Obama's appointment to make, but at the time, Senate Republicans blocked a hearing and said it should be the next president who decides the nominee. It was an election year. And I have to tell you, that was an unprecedented move, and it worked.
The president has every right to nominate whoever he wants to. But the Senate, which is a co-equal branch of government, has every right not to act on that nomination.
Mr. Trump became president, he appointed conservative judge Neil Gorsuch. But the court kept its balance because it still had Justice Kennedy, a reliable swing vote. Today, Seattle U constitutional law professor Andrew Siegel reflected on this and said we are one health crisis away from having a court with no swing vote.
With 5 strong judicial conservatives, with 5 justices who are kind of fundamentally opposed to some of the things we take for granted, who certainly if they had their druthers wouldn't have an abortion right in the Constitution, who if it was up to them would not have established a right to same-sex marriage, who are likely to instantiate a very strong or much stronger than otherwise Second Amendment and strike down a lot of gun control. And on these issues that matter to a lot of people, I think a lot of us are very worried that the Supreme Court is going to be wildly out of whack with the views of the majority of American people.
Now, ask Professor Siegel if the Democrats have any options left. Well, the answer, not many. So now the Dems are trying to play one of the few cards they have left, just simply telling Republicans that we should follow their logic from 2016 when they blocked Mr. Obama's appointment.
Our Republican colleagues in the Senate should follow the rule they set in 2016, not to consider a Supreme Court justice in an election year.
Now, certainly the Republicans will say, yeah, that makes sense. Let's just do that. Not going to happen. You know that. They're not going to wait. In fact, there's already a short list of replacements that President Trump and his team will be considering. So the only card, at least what Mr. Siegel, Professor Siegel was saying that the Dems have is creating a public, having a public swell at this point to kind of pressure the lawmakers on the Republican side to wait, but not likely. Yeah. What?
Yeah,
no.
well, key word there, the professor said, talking about certainly growing up in America, you do feel like majority rules. So to suddenly be in this situation where that's going to be out of balance is, yeah, it is. It's a little concerning.
I think it's nice when you have someone like Justice Kennedy who is that swing vote that it's not always just going with a certain ideology, but so it'll be interesting to see what happens from here, and if the Democrats try to get the public rallied up. The midterm elections will be crucial in all of this. So.
Can we hope they all just look at the law?
That's the thing with law and science. It still is how you interpret it.
Yeah, right.
Right? It's like you would think it would be hard and fast if it's science, but it really is how you approach it, the biases you bring to it already.
Right.
I mean, it would make sense, but yeah. It's how you interpret
that would mean
the
everybody
law.
would need to get along as well at some point.
Yeah. Speaking of which,